What's poppin', dickheads? Welcome back to The Bad Chef. Today we're going to learn how to cut an onion. Now, cutting an onion is one of the foundational skills of cooking because onions are used in so many different dishes. So, knowing how to cut an onion properly is probably a good idea. Alrighty, step one, you're going to need a sharp knife. So I'm going to take this knife, run it across the steel a couple of times, and hopefully that will be honed enough to cut through our onion. The reason why we want a sharp knife is that if it's not sharp, it'll crush the cells of the onions and that'll leak out all the chemicals that make you cry. So, if you don't want to cry while you're cutting onions, use a sharp knife and stop getting so emotionally attached to the onions. Otherwise, you can wear some proper PPE, like this.
Alright, now that you've got your PPE on, let's start cutting our onions. Alright, the first thing that you want to do with your onions is to cut off the front.
Oh, the front fell off.
So that's the first step. Once you get this off, just chuck it somewhere else. And then cut the rest of the onion in half through the root. So that's what we get to. The next thing is that you have to peel off the paper skin bit. It doesn't matter if you take an extra layer off. It's an onion. So that's one. And that's the second layer there. There we go. That's pretty much it. Now the next step of cutting your onions, we want to cut them this way. Because everything's in a semicircle, if you cut them this way, it'll help separate things out a bit better. But if you don't want to do it because you're short on time, it's optional. Alright, there's a technique to this. Never put your hand completely over the top, because then you can't see where you're cutting, it will slice off the front of your hand, and that's no fun. Instead, do this, and then gently slice across. And that should be pretty much it done. If you have a slightly taller one, you could do 2 cuts. So, 1, 2. The next step is what I like to call the bear claw. We cut it down this way now, so that the whole onion looks like a bear claw, right? Now, let's go. We want to use the tip of our knife just to cut down, but not all the way through. We want the root to hold together at the end of the onions, right? Done. And you have a perfectly bare-clawed onion. Alright, last step. We've cut it this way and this way. The next thing that we have to do is to cut it this way. All you have to do is to use your bear claw, put it on there and hold it like a tennis ball. And just cut down smoothly and confidently through the onion. You don't have to go super fast. Just go at a pace where you're comfortable. And at the end here, what we're going to do, we're just going to run it through the knife like this a few times. So this is all the waste that we have. We can pop that in the bin. And all of that goes into our prep bowl. Nice. So some of you guys will be asking, Chi, why do we have to
chop our onions until they're so small? And the reason why we do that is because the smaller we chop our onions, the more flavor that they'll release quicker. And also it takes less time to cook them and reduce them down if you make them really small. Of course, there's nothing wrong with cutting them into just slices, but you know, why not just go do the extra steps? Make them into a dice instead of a slice. Anyway, that's how to dice an onion. Now piss off.
Onion right here. Onion.